Explanation video, take one. I'm gonna try to do this in one take so that's natural. YouTube's taken down my Conan video. It's been copyright flagged multiple times. First of all, every short clip got hit with a copyright claim. I defeated all of them in turn. I think it was something like 47 of them. And then the movie for Conan literally got hit 3 or 4 different times by 3 or 4 different companies. Most of them like Universal or what have you from different countries. As the whole movie, it seems like just being as long as the video is giving bots the impression that it's the full film, despite the fact that it's black and white, reversed short clips with the audio turned all the way down and a voiceover on top, and it's definitely an educational and critical video, which falls under fair use. Basically, every time it went to a human being, I think, every time it could go to a human being, it was unflagged by whoever was doing the reviewing. And but there's a company, I won't even bother naming, that I traced back the last copyright strike to, which was the most severe. It went from when I disputed it, they escalated it immediately. Like it was like instant, which is how I know it was probably automated. And it was probably automated because, sorry, my hand's getting tired. It was also probably automated because it was that it was escalated at all, because every other version of the exact same strike was taken down, and this one was auto escalated to a degree where the next step would be me declaring it fair use in a legal manner, which then the other side could escalate again into some sort of legal fight, where it could take me to court to get the video taken down. Now, at that point, I was still pretty confident. I was still confident that I'm using it in fair use. There's 2 or 3 definitions of fair use under which this falls, and at no point is it competing for being the movie. Like, it's not a different, what I do think though is it is not a good review. I mean, it is, I love the movie, and I was being pretty clear about that, but I was also talking about how it's, fascist propaganda. And I said the word fascist, so like, I've done that twice now. In this video, we'll probably bleep it out. There's stuff I was skirting around that I was hoping would keep it from getting taken down. It got taken down anyway. Look, my channel was already getting nerfed down to hundreds of views after getting thousands in the first few videos, and now it's like, I might as well not even have a channel. And I was thinking about it, and it's like, maybe it's always been like this. Maybe it's always been getting worse while things get easier. These companies are predatory. All of these companies are predatory. All of them are moving toward a model that is unsustainable for the world and basically annihilates or does a slow genocide on the rest of us, right? By taking away our jobs, taking away our ability to feed ourselves and take care of ourselves and all this other stuff, and making it unaffordable to live, right? So I don't really have a lot of incentive to continue posting on a platform that's allowing AI slop to take over itself. Like what they've really done, these guys, they call themselves disruptors, and they disrupt industries. And what that's always been code for is completely dismantling and deconstructing entire workforces and areas of life that we need to stay sane, and putting themselves there instead, and they're just middlemen, so we actually don't actually have content or any kind of any of the satisfaction that those other things used to give us, and instead are left with more and more work to do and less value to accrue. So I guess what I'm saying is now they've turned their eyes on their own industry, and I keep telling this to friends of mine. I say, let them have it. Maybe, if what they've done is they spent 20 years constructing a simulation of the world and tricking us into thinking it was the real world, and then taking over that simulation that they already have control over, just like shifting it in their favor. But if you leave the holodeck, Moriarty has no power, right? He's just tricked you into thinking you've left and that he's still in power. But in reality, you just have to wake up. You're still in the holodeck. If you leave these platforms, they are the ones that lose all their power and money. And they're doing a lot of work right now because they know they've disrupted their own shit. They are trying to tie themselves into every other industry and make themselves too big and too intricately woven into the fabric of society to be allowed to fail. And they're hoping for bailouts and all this other stuff that happened to the banks last time. And they're doing all that because they're desperate, because they understand that what they have fundamentally done is tied their entire industry and everything into AI under the auspice of it's going to either become AGI, which is impossible, because that's not how consciousness or the mind works, or it's going to revolutionize all these different sectors, which it can't do because it's just predictive text with a Google search engine key, basically. It can't do any of this stuff. And so they know that they just have a time bomb ticking away right now, which is that eventually there's no new content for this thing to absorb and produce new results. So it's just going to start eating itself, which is, the serpent eating its own tail is the perfect apt metaphor for everything that's been going on for the last 20 years. As well as the fake it till you make it thing, right? Like all the Fire Festival shit, all the con artists that were quickly caught pretending to have something they didn't have, thinking they would make it once they got the investment, predicated on the fact that they already had it, right? The lady who pretended she had a prescription drug that she didn't have because she thought if she could trick them into giving her the money, she could manufacture the drug, right? That is what they've all been doing the whole time. It's all a Ponzi scheme, moving around assets, money, and ideas, and paying each other off the same money over and over again. It'll make it look like they're making profits, right? So this has been a bubble the whole time. For 15 years, as soon as the last bubble popped, we were in another bubble. Okay? So I don't have an incentive to stay on this platform. I didn't want to be on this platform, but it was the platform to do this on, right? So I'm on Substack. It's you can either just go to goddygodworlds.com and it'll take you to the Substack, or dcraymond.substack.com. And if I post any more videos, they'll be there. All the videos that I've already had are there. Feel free to contribute if you'd like me to make more videos, because right now I have 2 day jobs, and I just can't afford to cut out that much time. I will be slowly working on videos and other works, but I've got main projects, like the game I've been working on for 4 years, which I'll start talking about maybe like this or something on there. And I've got so many other things to work on, and then the videos were supposed to be a way to get an audience, a way to sell my ideas to people and say, look, I know what I'm talking about, and this is why this game needs to be this way. You can read some of that too on the Substack in the backlog if you get a paid subscription. I don't even, if you don't want to pay, if you can't pay, I mean, that's perfectly reasonable right now. Broccoli costs $1,000. If you want to get a loaf of bread, it's a mortgage. So this is the thing that precedes world wars usually, and so did the economic collapse happened because of the last bailout, and that led to immediate fascism in Greece, which was the first country to collapse. Right, this is what happens. Okay, Nazis happen because money gets tight. Because resource shortage is the mode that creates, deserts created all these ideologies. And resource shortage, because it was a desert, there's a mode inside us. And this is the type of thing I was trying to get at in all of this stuff, was like getting around to the mechanisms of how we work and how we become and code switch into these competition modes versus cooperative modes, and how cooperation is objectively the route every time, and we consistently choose competition because of this resource shortage model in our head, that is tied to all sorts of other stuff like shepherding and sun worship. And sun worship in a desert is sadomasochism, and that mentality, that borderline personality disorder where the abusive parent, or God in this case, gets appeased and worshipped instead of ignored and moved on from. Right, this habit to appease our abuser and distrust outsiders instead of our abuser. Right, it's the same mechanism in abusive relationships. That's what I'm talking about in the Harley and Joker video, and in the sort of Conan mythos, like this thing where he's actually becoming a monster because he's taking on the ideology of his slavers, right? Only they've inverted who enslaved who, so it's propaganda. Anyway, and I was getting around to the goddess stuff and all this other stuff. So I'm definitely going to keep making the videos. It's just going to be at a really, really slow pace if I am having to work 48-hour weeks at bars instead of doing this stuff as a career. But I am moving forward in the game stuff for the career. It's just, that comes before the videos, because the videos are basically marketing with actual value instead of, I'm not going to just make a commercial. I'm going to be informative and educational and everything. But YouTube nerfed all sorts of huge accounts are now getting like a quarter of the views they used to get. Red Letter Media, just check out their video on what the algorithm did to them around the exact same time as I put out either the Mass Effect video or the one before it, where suddenly I went from getting increasing video views, 2,000, then 3,000, instead of, and then 5,000 with the Courtney Love video. That went to 100 on the Mass Effect video, and then 110 on the Conan video before it got taken down. So it really is killing small channels, and then you've got all this repetitive slop that they're not policing. They're not doing enough to get, which is just going to kill their platform. There's no reason to come here. It's like the French Quarter right now. I live in New Orleans. And there's these predatory real estate groups who are turning everything into a daiquiri shop or a strip club, and eventually, or a meaningless fast food restaurant. And they really love everything to be Chipotle or something right now. But the thing is, that's people come here for the culture. This isn't even New York. It's not this port that's just going to have people at it who make culture because they are from somewhere and they live here. This is a place that has a culture from itself, not from uh, uh, um, random new immigrants, and not from Hollywood, which is also random new immigrants, right? It's people from the rest of the country immigrating to Southern California to become stars or something. And New York is people coming into America to become free or something, and which is going to diminish in the new administration and all that. But New Orleans is a place where people have lived. People stay. It's a country to itself. It's a country unto itself. And without us, and without allowing natural culture to exist and buying up everything and destroying all that, no one's going to come here at all. No one's going to come here at all. And then there's no money. No money dries up for you. It's like short term. Yeah, you've cut out the middleman, which is the creatives, the artists, the cooks, the chefs, and just opened up a shitty restaurant that you make all the money out of and don't have to pay rent because you own the building. I get the short term, like, why are we allowing people to pay us rent where we could be the restaurant, right? I get it. But you don't know what you're doing with food or with art or with music. So no one comes here to eat at a Willie's Chicken Shack. And the same thing, nobody comes to YouTube to watch an AI maybe tell them the truth about something. So Substack is the new place for honesty at this point. I think it's like a journalism. It's what Medium wanted to be, plus what YouTube used to be. It's probably going to inshitify pretty fast, but I think we're just going to have to keep hopping platforms for the time being until we figure out that AI is really only useful for coding to create new platforms and thus replace these tech guys and these middlemen. Like, that's all an AI will ever be good at, is being a new middleman, being a new movie producer or studio head, right? These guys that just push papers around and money and accounting and all this middleman stuff. And the creative work is what cannot be replaced. That's the irony, is they can't do what we do with that thing, but it can do their jobs. Bill Gates is nobody. AI can do Bill Gates' job. His value went away a long time ago. And if you want to say, okay, there's Steve Jobs and Wozniak are both creative forces of a different type, and Bill Gates as well, then sure. But there's all these people between Woz and the Best Buy, where you buy the computer. And the people between them are the people that can be replaced. You can't replace the Geek Squad guy. You can't replace the salesman that's standing in front of the store. But you can replace all of the infrastructure guys who are barely doing a job in between there. And these are the guys who are trying to replace you, right? And I don't even mean the administrators as much as I mean the administrators of the administrators, right? Middle management, all the way up to, hedge fund guys. All these guys that are dismantling society right now, AI could do their jobs and do them without having to be evil because they didn't have a mommy and a daddy that fucked them up, right? And that fucked them up, and then they didn't get creative from it. Everybody else who had bad parents became a good artist, so they just don't have creative bones in their bodies. They're sociopaths. Anyway, Substack, GoddyGodWorlds.com, which will eventually have more than just the Substack. I've got a whole site I was also working on for the past 4 years related to this game. or you can go to dcraymond.substack.com. Same link, basically. And I'll just be posting there from now on. I know there's only a couple of hundred of you, so, it might not matter what I'm posting right now. But, if you see this, which you probably won't, because it probably won't show it to you, that's where I'm going to be. And I hope you follow, if not just follow me there, but like, I hope you just go there instead from now on. Like, it's just better. We need to get off of Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and Google. Use DuckDuckGo. Use Firefox. Just extract yourself. It's not a monopoly. This is the Wild West, and they've built a few cities, and we don't have to live there. If they want to be corrupt sheriffs and governor, you can move. You can still move. This is still wide open space out here. So, all right. Thanks.